Hello, hello on this cold winter day in Long Island. I'm Marsha Grace, your Calm Creativity Connector. And I have to tell you that my friend Sue, I saw her on Facebook this morning, Sue Glenn, and she was wearing her hoodie. And then I realized I was wearing my hoodie. And I said, yeah, it's a good day to wear a hoodie because it is freezing out. Anyway, all right, I don't really need the hoodie right now because I'm indoors and I'm right in front of my fireplace, so my back is toasty warm. so, uh, so anyway, hi, it's Friday, and here we are as usual, talking about how to relieve stress, basically, for us busy business people, business women who are just wearing 17 hats and trying to negotiate through these incredibly difficult times. But as I always say, there is a way to view your feelings and your experiences differently so that you can discover the solutions to your problems, and to the difficulties you're having in your relationships. Even in the face of fear and catastrophe and chaos and all the other things that are going on now. But it all begins with your thoughts. That's where I come from. It all begins with your thoughts. So by shifting from the outward, the external, and all the concerns out there, going within and finding your master switch is the way I teach people to discover that calm center that they have, where you can find the answers to all your problems. So, okay, today, well, let me start off by saying last week we spoke, the new series we're doing now is about joy. I thought it'd be good to change it up a little bit and talk about joy. But in order to talk about joy, we have to talk about how to get there because most of us are not feeling that joyful right now. So last week we spoke about the physical effects of a lack of joy. When we're not feeling joyful, what goes on in our bodies. And this week, I want to talk about the mental problems that we have. And I was just reading an article before about how many people are experiencing depression and anxiety in these times, and that I think they said it's gone up 33%, that psychologists and psychiatrists are seeing a huge influx of patients because they're under so much stress. So let's talk about mental health, and as a way to kind of press the button, the bell in us that will awaken our recognition that we're not joyful, okay? Because if you're joyful, you're not going to be depressed. If you're joyful, you're not going to, be suffering all the negativity and sadness that comes along with those things. So, okay, so let's talk about a couple of things that we can do very practically. My approach is always to be totally practical. And I want to say hello to Lee. Hi, Lee. Nice to see you. And Gustavo. Very nice. Hi. So I want to talk about the very first thing you can do and recognize is that how are you feeling about yourself? How do you feel today? Please let me know in the box there. Let me know, how are you feeling? Are you stressed? Are you anxious? What's going on for you? I'd love to hear. So please do share that with me. And the reason I ask that is because the very first thing we need to really recognize, to get a handle on, is how we feel about ourselves. Okay? So we have to learn to love ourselves. And I say that because most of us do not. Oh, you're fed up, Lee. Lee is fed up. I hear you. Yes, indeed. If that's the worst, that's not too bad. I think we can really work with that. I think we can. There's hope. There's always hope somewhere in the future. We can hold on to that by a thread, right? I heard the other day this cute little line that said, if you're at the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang on. I thought that was a great idea. So, all right, so how do you love yourself? How do you learn to love yourself? Well, first you have to realize you don't love yourself, right? It always goes back, it's one or the other. And the way we know that is if we're not feeling good, if we're not feeling joy, then we're not loving ourselves nearly as much as is possible. So that is absolutely the first thing you have to recognize, because your relationship with yourself is what defines the kind of life you're going to lead. That's just a fact. If you're down on yourself, if you're blaming yourself for things all the time, if you're angry at yourself, if you're feeling confused, if you're frustrated and fed up, as Lee just said, then this is a sure sign that we're not loving ourselves as much as we could. All right. So, and that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. It's a good thing to recognize that. It's absolutely crucial that we recognize that and not pretend like, oh no, I feel good, everything's good. No, you must acknowledge the truth. All right, because without that, you can't move on. You can't do anything about it. If we minimize, if we put things under the carpet, we're not going to fix them. Right? We want to fix them. We want to feel good. We want joy in our life. Right? So, because we are our own worst enemies. Don't we know that? Okay. So once you know that, you can work with it. If you deny it, nothing changes. Okay. Lee is thanking me. He says he has to remind himself. Yes, we all do. We all do. You're no different. We're all in the same boat together. So, okay. Second thing, now that we know we don't love ourselves enough, we need to attend to the stress that we are experiencing. Absolutely. I mean, who isn't, right? Who isn't experiencing stress these days? And if you're in business, well, come on, that just goes along with the with the nature of things. So when you're feeling stress, you're not at your best, obviously. You're not going to be able to solve the problems that need solving, in your daily routines. You won't be able to think clearly. You're going to possibly get sick. I mean, stress causes illness. There's no two ways about that, and it can get very, very serious very quickly. So make no mistake about that. We need to handle our stress. And there are lots of quick things that you can do to do that. And I have I think it was 2 weeks ago, I talked about my instant calm formula. I call it ICF, IC fun, whatever. I don't know, play with that. But anyway, instant calm formula. So if you missed that, then check back to a couple of weeks. I think it was the 15th, January 15th, I discussed that in detail. And it's an instant way to catch, as soon as you feel the stress, to catch yourself and do something about it. It's temporary, okay? It's not a thing that's going to fix you for life, but it's a lifesaver in the moment, okay? So try that. All right, so, and the other thing I want to say about stress is I'm not suggesting that we should never have any stress. A little bit of stress is good. I know it gets me motivated sometimes when I'm feeling stressed. I'm a down-to-the-wire kind of person. I tend to wait till the last minute to get a project completed, and that's on me, But I seem to do okay with that. It gets done. So we have to honor ourselves where we are, and if it's not working for you, then of course that calls for action, right? That calls for some change in thinking, possibly. But seriously, we're all going to have stress, and I'm not suggesting that you should ever think that stress is not something you're going to ever get. You're ever going to have none. And you shouldn't think that everything is going to be fine, or pretend like it's fine when it isn't. All right, that is not helpful. We need to deal with our stress. All right, number 3 is really, really crucial too, noticing your negative thoughts. Noticing those thoughts that are not your best friend. And that's what I call ego thinking. Our ego, which is that little part of us that thinks it has to do everything on its own, that everybody's out to get it, that life is hard, and all those other, things that go along with that. So the more that you complain, which is what egos love to do, just give me your ear and I'll fill it up with all of my problems, and you may be bored to death, but I'll feel at least I got something off my chest, right? So, but the problem is that the more you talk about your problems, the more depressed you get. So is that helpful? I don't think so. I don't think that's going to be very helpful. I think you want to do something about that. And the thing about our negative thoughts, or the thoughts that hurt us, let's put it that way, the thoughts that hurt us, is that they usually are based in the past. In fact, 100%, they're either based in the past, something that happened before, that you're harboring a grievance toward, or you're dragging into this, into the moment and then regurgitating, or it's about something that you think is going to happen in the future, which of course hasn't happened yet. So how do we know? You're making something up and attaching an emotion to it that's causing you pain. Does that make sense? I don't think so. I don't think that makes sense. I don't think you want to keep doing that. So catch those negative thoughts. And this may sound strange, but the best way to do that, and what my spiritual training has taught me over so many years, is to forgive yourself for your negative thoughts, for the thoughts that are hurting you. To forgive yourself, not anybody else out there. Regardless of the fact that you think you're hurting because somebody did something to you, it's still your thought. And they have no idea what you're thinking, right? They don't know. It's not hurting them at all, but it is hurting you. So forgive yourself for that thought. Forgive yourself for thinking, oh, there I go, I went and did that stupid thing again, or whatever it is. Just catch that and realize that it's really useless. It serves no purpose other than to keep you locked up and imprisoned in pain. We don't want to keep doing that. Okay, so let's get rid of those negative thoughts. Next, I want to talk about, this is interesting, our unhealthy behaviors. Oh, Lee, what does Lee say? Okay, Lee says he's usually positive. He or she, I'm not sure. I'm grateful that things aren't worse and don't like to burden anyone. Okay, that's a good point, and I want to address that, Lee. You don't want to burden anyone. Hey, no, I don't think that's helpful. You know why? Because first of all, what that says to me is, again, there's that ego thinking that says I have to do it on my own. Nobody else cares about me, or nobody else is going to understand. All those kinds of thoughts are those hurtful thoughts that are not helping us to relieve that stress. So, of course, what that means is you have to be very selective in finding the person that you can speak to. But there really is nothing better than having a conversation and laying it out on the table with someone that you can totally trust, who will hear you. And if there isn't anyone that you feel you can trust, then go see a therapist. Seriously, I mean, therapists are de rigueur these days. I mean, really, it's so helpful, especially if you're in business. You really need someone else because you're in a place of authority. And of course, I understand you don't want to tell every Tom, Dick, and Harry your problems, but you do need to tell someone. So that's why I say, get a therapist. Really, you'll unburden yourself to someone who really is interested in helping you. All right, so thank you for that, Lee. I really appreciate it. And Lee says she's a she. Okay. Okay. Right. Sorry, I even thought that it was elsewise, but okay. So unhealthy behaviors we were talking about. So people when we don't love ourselves, the thing we tend to do is try to run from the problem. We try to run away, and we do it in ways that are very harmful to ourselves, mentally as well as physically. So we do things like start drinking too much, we overeat, um, we gamble, we watch porn, I don't know, we smoke, we do all of these really, really, what's the word, less than useful things that are not going to get us where we want to go. So what's the answer to that? Well, you have to face it. You have to face it. Running away is not going to solve the problem. Doing these harmful behaviors is not going to solve your problems. It's only going to increase your stress. So, and the more we tend to push it away, the deeper we get depressed. And I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. We've all had moments, I'm sure, if not days or weeks, where we felt that way. So it's totally normal. There's nothing wrong with you if you feel that way, if you have a need to do that. But what you want to do really is catch yourself and say, just kind of do the instant program that I talked about a couple of weeks ago, because that's what will help you to catch yourself right away. Catch yourself. So, all right. So the best way is to face it. Face those actions. As soon as you're going to go get a drink, as soon as you're going to go eat another donut, whatever it is, or flick on the TV and binge watch. Right now I'm watching, what am I watching? Outlanders. Woo, what a series. Oh, boy. But anyway, so, you start binge watching on Netflix. Catch yourself and say, is this what I really want to be doing? All right, now, ego loves a void, right? It's going to fill it with all this negative stuff. So what you want to do instead is replace. This is replacement therapy, all right? You're going to take that negative thing, the overeating or the eating junk food, and you're going to replace it. Do you like to cook? I love to cook. When I get in the kitchen, I love to chop and peel and slice. To me, it's a meditation in itself. And I know, and I'm doing all these veggies, and and the colors are beautiful, and the odors of the veggies as I slice them. I love to smell onions cooking. I mean, it's just a wonderful experience all over. And then I sit down to a meal that's really healthy for me. So instead of eating the junk, I'm eating healthy food. So that's a replacement for that particular thing. If you're gambling, if you find yourself, getting on these I know there's gambling sites now. I don't know. I've never seen them. It's not my thing. I don't do that. But instead, maybe you could find a group of friends and sit around and play a game. Get on. There are things you can do online now where you can play games together online. I did it with my grandkids over Christmas, and it was a lot of fun. You just switch out the negative and replace it with something very similar, but that's positive and fun, and something, again, you can enjoy with other people. So there's that. And on and on. I mean, I'm not going to go on and on. You can figure this out. But so that's what I'm saying about unhealthy behaviors. Catch them, see them, confront them, and then find a way to replace them, to switch them out with something else. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is dealing with sadness, because we're working with our mind now. Remember, these are all these thoughts that are going on in our minds that are keeping us from our joy. So if and Lord knows, people who have definitely are suffering with grief. We've lost people we love. This illness has killed how many hundreds of thousands of people already? All over here in our country, in our towns. I mean, I watch the paper every day, and I see the numbers keep going up of people who have passed. And so there's absolutely grief. I understand that, and I honor it. And I say, when you are grieving, you must allow yourself time to grieve. That's very, very, very important. However, if you find that this is going on too long, what's too long? I'm not even going to hazard, for anybody else. I can't say that. But if you will know if your grief is overtaking your life to the point where you really aren't functioning optimally, then maybe it's time to get help. Again, get help, or join a grieving group at your church. You can go to your local mental health department and find out if they've got some groups there, and help yourself. Help yourself. There's no shame in it. There's only good things for you. There's only good things for you when you do that. So, and also do the ICF. All right, do it because that 4 little steps. As soon as you can catch yourself getting uptight, and you can do the 4 steps, you will, 4 steps or 5 steps, I forget. Anyway, you will feel better right away. It won't last, but at least it's a quickie answer. All right, so we're dealing with sadness. The last one, and I think this is the cherry on the top of the cake, after we've dealt with all these other issues with our thinking, is to be able to laugh at the situations in your life and at yourself, to laugh at yourself. For years, and I'm telling you this in all honesty, that when I was younger, I was never able to laugh at myself. I would feel insulted if I thought to laugh at myself at something that I did, that would be shameful. But over the years, I've realized how ridiculous that is, because we all make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. We all have problems. We all know what it's like to to go through hard times, or to find ourselves in crazy situations and not know our way out. And if you've listened to any of the really great comedians, you know, Lee laughs at herself. Okay, good. You got it. All right, perfect. You know that how important it is to make fun, and these comedians are great at that. They'll tell you stories about the most horrible, ridiculous things they've done, and we laugh. Why do we laugh? Because we understand. We've all been there. And you know what it does? It does incredible things, because when you laugh, you're releasing endorphins. Your whole body gets involved, right? And it'll take that stress away. It really will. It'll lift your cheeks, and everything just kind of lightens up. So it stimulates your heart and your lungs, and it's a whole body workout in itself when we can laugh wholeheartedly at life and its crazy things. So in fact, I remember many years ago, I read a book by Norman Cousins, his name was. It was called Laughing Your Way Back to Health. And he tells a story of how he got this crazy disease. He went to 1 million doctors, and nobody could figure out what was wrong with him. And little by little, he got weaker and weaker until he could barely move. And nobody could help him. And he was getting so depressed. And he just started to work with, I don't remember the exact details, but I think he started to work with some spiritual ideas. And he decided, he was in the hospital and they weren't doing a thing for him, so he said, I'm leaving the hospital. He decided to go to a hotel where he could be set up and have people come in and help him, because he couldn't do anything for himself. And he said, bring in, this is many years ago, bring in a projector and movies or whatever. I don't know whatever form the movies came in those days. And only comedies. And so all day long, he started to watch comedies, and he began to laugh. And the laughter just healed him. I mean, he wrote this whole book about that experience. So if he could do it, I guess we could do it too. So All right. Just to recap, how can we gain joy? And again, joy is not an external experience. Joy is an internal experience. It's always present, but we cannot experience it if we are not doing the following things. If we're not loving ourselves, if we're not dealing with our stress, if we're having negative thoughts, if we're doing unhealthy behaviors, if we're sad too long and too much, and if we don't learn to laugh at ourselves. All right, so those are the four things that, four, however many things there were, that I wanted to discuss today about mental health, the mental health aspects of keeping our joy away. So, if you truly want to find your calm in the midst of this storm of life, I would like to offer you my website, my guided meditation. If you'd like to go there, I left you the link. You can go listen to it for $0, and maybe that will help a little bit. There are so many apps and things around today to help us out, so take advantage of them. And oh, thanks, Lee. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. You want to be on my video, huh? I don't. Let's see if we can do that, Lee. Let's see. I'm going to add you. All right. All right. Leon. It says you're adding. Oh, you declined it. I called your bluff, huh? What happened? All right. All right. No problem. But please do let me know how you're feeling and what things you're doing. I'd love everybody to let me know that. What are you feeling? What are you doing? How can I help you? You know, I'm always available for a discussion of just to get a sense of what's going on for you. So please keep that in mind. My email address is mg@marshagrace.com, and you can check that out. All right, so that's it for that portion. Now we get to the woo-woo part, because I'm a woo-woo person in disguise. We do business and we do woo-woo, but we do it together. And you know what? That's what makes business even more successful, when we can bring in our spiritual nature, which everybody has. Whether you believe it or choose to see it or not is beside the point. But everybody has a spiritual aspect to themselves. And what I mean by spiritual is that part of you that connects you to everything else, okay? There's a thing called, in ancient Hindu literature, called Indra's net. And look it up. It's very interesting. It's this concept that there's this huge, life is this huge net. And if you think of a net, you know, there are cross points, right? Wherever the net crosses the rest of the net, right, there are points, right? Those corners. And so in Indra's net, in every corner, there's a diamond. In every single corner of the net, there's a diamond. And what happens is, as a result of there being a diamond, when the light hits the diamond, the light shines out. And it shines out and it touches the other diamonds, the light coming from the other diamonds, and they merge. And everything is connected. That's the point. That's the metaphor that this Indra's net teaches us, that we're all connected. And we are. We are. If you allow yourself to work with that principle, because there are many things that happen in life, and I can't possibly go into that now, but you've had your own experiences, what we call gut feelings or an intuition or something like that, where you've had an experience, and it wasn't anything to do with anything that anybody said or that you heard with your ears. It was an internal knowing. That's what I'm talking about. That's your spiritual nature. So, okay, so we're going to tap into that and nurture that in our next little segment, if you want to hang around. And we're going to do a little breath, and we're going to do a little tiny meditation, nothing big. I know we're all got a lot of things to do, and so I won't keep you.
but a short time. So we're going to light the candle here. All right. And um, we're going to do our breath work today. If you've been with me for a while, we do a breath and we do a little meditation. I try to do something a little different each time. So this week we're going to do this breath. Let me describe it first. We're going to breathe in, and as you're breathing in, I want you to say, because we're using thoughts now, this is all about your good mental health. You're breathing in, you're going to say, I am master of my thoughts. So I am master of my thoughts, and then you're going to hold that for a second, and then as you breathe out, I want you to say to yourself, I release all thoughts that hurt. Okay? I am master of my thoughts. I release all thoughts that hurt. All right, we're going to do three rounds of those. Okay, so let's do that together. All right, so breathing in, I am master of my thoughts. Hold, I release all thoughts that hurt. Breathe it out. And again, breathing in, I am master of my thoughts. Hold, I release all thoughts that hurt. One more. Breathing in. I am master of my thoughts. Hold. And I release all thoughts that hurt. All right, so now just sit with that for a moment. Let that sink in. And now, either watching the candle or closing your eyes, whichever works for you. Let's see, should I put this over here? Okay, whichever works for you. Closing eyes for me is the best because there are no distractions, nothing to interfere. But if looking at the candle is good for you, then by all means do that. If you're looking at the candle, I want you to look into the candle flame, and I want you to start to see little balloons in the center of the candle. And if your eyes are closed, just mentally construct some balloons and let them be pink and green and yellow and orange and red and all colors, right? Just whatever color, one color, whatever color you like. And as you're doing this, I want you to become aware of your thoughts. What thoughts are you having right now? See if you can actually extract. They come so fast sometimes that we really can't even catch them. But try to catch those thoughts, at least one or two. Are you worried about something that somebody just said that you have to respond to? Is there something that you have, a task you haven't completed? Whatever it may be, I want you to grab that thought and in your mind take a string and attach it to the balloon. Now it's a helium-filled balloon, and you're going to watch that thought float away, off it goes. And as soon as that thought is gone, oh, there's another one. Got another thought, another worry, another concern, another doubt. Get another piece of string, tie it to that next balloon, and again, let the balloon go and let it just fly, float way off into the sky. Let it go. And if you have one more, let's do one more. Find one more thought in there, one more that's hurting you. It's hurting you, and you don't deserve it. You deserve joy in your life. So find that thought. I'll give you a minute. I'll give you a second or two, actually. Probably won't take too long. And again, get another piece of string, tie it to that thought, like a little, one of those little word balloons, you know, that we see. Tie it to this, tie it to your balloon. And again, let it go and watch it float, float, float off and away. It can't hurt you unless you keep it. So you want to let it go. All right. So come on back now and use that. Use that little balloon technique anytime you have a problem. It might help you send it off and eliminate it. So I hope that was helpful for you today. Um, enjoy the weekend and the following week. I know I intend to, no matter what, even if it's just sitting by my fire here. Although on Sunday, I have to tell you, I have a tiny little group of my friend and my people here, and we're watching Harry Potter because we love Harry Potter. So uh, each Sunday we're having a Harry Potter movie day, and it's been a lot of fun. And then at the end, we're going to play the Harry Potter game, the trivia game. So we have something to really look forward to. All right, folks, many blessings. Peace to you. Have a great week until next Friday when we will be here in the calm in the midst of the storm.